Hi, everybody. My name is Gina Ondercin. I am one of the assistant directors here in Residence Life at Appalachian State, and myself and my colleague are here to talk to you today just about some ways to get involved in just some other student leadership opportunities. So I'll have Anna Mack introduce herself to a minute.
Hey everyone at home, my name is Anna McNamara. I'm the coordinator of student leadership here at Appalachian State within University Housing. So we're excited to tell you how to get involved in our department and all the ways that housing can be your first step to your Appalachian journey.
Yep. So to start off with, there have been some questions just about how to apply to residential learning communities. What are they? How do I find information? All of that. So I thought I'd answer that question. So in my role in kind of organizing and kind of overseeing all of that, there is an email. It's just rlc@appstate.edu. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to email there, and I am the person who responds to all of those. You can also give me a call as well. My phone number is on the app website, but it's also 828-262-7308. And so I'm always happy to answer any questions, but all of the RLCs on our website, there are some for usually first year students, there are some for transfer students as well. So just depending on your interest, some are theme based. So if you want to have an active lifestyle, explore the trails, be outdoors, we have a community for that. It's called Active Living. There's also a community that's outdoor. So if you're interested in maybe pursuing a career in working in outdoors, then that might be one that you may want to consider. There are some communities as well that are more academic program based. So for example, our psychology program, we have a learning community that's called Brain Matters. So do lots of really interesting things, and that linked class is in particular taught by a faculty member in the psychology department, and that community is going on its 10th year. So there's a lot of really great traditions that that community does. So to think about that one. There's also, if you're interested in sustainability and living green, we have that community. So again, lots of options for students to be involved. If you're an early college student, we do also have a community for early college students. So feel free to take a look at the website and see all of those different options for learning communities and in getting involved here at App. So.
And Gina, with these RLCs, are there like campus partners that are involved with them, or is it all just housing staff that's running them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are, it's a combination of both. There are some, each of the communities that are in the halls, there's an RA particularly for each of the communities, and then the hall supervisors. So the coordinators, the full-time staff, there's also the graduate students who run the residence halls, they're involved as well. And there's also a leadership team. There's a chair for each of the communities, but we really have a team approach to really engaging students outside of the classroom. So they're within the chair, then there's the leadership team members who also participate and have programs and activities and plan events outside of the class just to be able to get connected to different campus partners, different offices. Transfer services is really involved in the transfer RLC and the early college RLC. Brain Matters, there's a lot of involvement with the other faculty within the psychology department. So just depending on the community, there are lots of campus partners who students will interact with being involved in those different communities.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and then another way to get involved, if you're not thinking campus partner, but you really want to create that in-hall living community, the one thing that you can get involved in is Hall Counsel. So Hall Counsel is like a small programmatic governing board within your hall. It's a board of 6 students that are all elected into the position, and each role serves a different purpose in connecting all of the residents to the building by putting on events for the hall. So there is a position like the president that runs the meetings and meets with the hall supervisor to set the agenda. The vice president helps with coordinating programs. The administrative chair is exactly that, does all the administration of submitting paperwork and taking minutes and making sure that everything stays organized and we remember things that happen each week. There's a sustainability chair or a sustainability rep that they will go and work with the Office of Sustainability, which then they'll get information about how to teach residents about green initiatives on campus, like our composting, or how, like, did you know if you look at the bottom of a plastic bottle, there's a little number to say what type of plastic it is, and that it makes it, you know, if it's recyclable or not. So they'll do educational programs like that. Our social justice rep, their role is to work with our, make sure all of our programs are inclusive and that they do educational programs around identity development. And then also there's our RHA rep, which is like our, if you're thinking of a local government, is like the senator from that building that goes to the Residence Hall Association to represent that building and talk about the things that are going on in the hall. So this group will do large-scale programs just for the building. They'll talk about issues that might be going on in the hall, if like a water fountain keeps getting broken or the elevator keeps going down, how can we get that fixed? So as you're getting involved with maybe faculty and staff across campus, you can get involved with other residents in the building with your council. And so those are some ways. What else is residential or residence education doing to get students involved? Gina?
Yeah, there are a number of different things in just working with our campus partners. If students have an interest in learning more about maybe just some academic support on campus or tutoring services, one of the responsibilities for my position as well is working with our campus partners to provide some of that academic support for students as well. So we really try to get students connected to, again, our campus partners, and you'll hear us say that a lot because we really do want students to succeed. And while we have a lot of really great answers, our campus partners are our experts. So we want to make sure that we refer students who may need some tutoring or some other support, or we really encourage students as well to talk with our counseling center on campus. They're great professionals. They have individual counseling and group counseling. So just a lot of different ways for us to help support students in their academics and just other resources that are on campus that students may not necessarily think of, especially first year students. Like I would encourage students, especially in their first year, to start going over to our career development office. They have a great 4-year plan to really think about, how are you going to get involved, think about internships, if you're thinking about study abroad, what that may look like, or maybe going on an internship or having some other experience just to help support that academic program that students are interested. So really having some of those conversations with some of our campus partners would be really helpful and beneficial, and what we would definitely recommend and just encourage students to do that, and just getting involved. And one of the questions I have too, Anna Mac, is if somebody is interested in Hall Counsel, how do they find out about it? What do elections look like? Like what is that about?
Yeah, so how to find out about it is we will bombard you and we will say you should get involved with us. Right when you move into a hall, you'll see advertisements about what positions are. You'll get information at move-in about all the positions that exist. And then also you'll get a bunch of emails from your hall supervisor to describe what it is and how to get involved. And so usually what will happen is your hall supervisor and your RA staff will put on a program at the beginning of the year. And that in your hall last year, they had a big ice cream social. So they had like sherbet for like if you can't have ice cream. They had cookie dough and sundae toppings and vanilla and all of this great stuff. just to bring people in to have a chance to talk about this as an opportunity to get involved and what each of these positions mean. And then you just fill out a little sheet to say, hey, I'm interested, I want to get involved, I want to put on programs, I want to get access to this budget that each individual hall has. So then you get to decide where that money is going as a board to get students getting to know each other out of their room. So and then there at the beginning of the year, there's a vote. All the information will go out to all the residents. And it's also a great way to really kind of practice that like civic engagement of getting involved in elections in general, because it feels like every year is an election year sometimes, but getting practice now of like learning about a candidate and thinking about what they want to accomplish, and then also going into casting your vote and saying who it is and seeing what they do is how that works. So it's a great way to immediately just kind of start meeting people in your hall if you're an out-of-state student, or if you don't know many people in your building, or you haven't found out that your friend from high school is actually 2 floors down from you. So that's a great way to get started.
Mm-hmm. Great. And in thinking about Hall Counsel, while yes, I mean, we are in housing and we want you to get involved, we want you to have that community on your floors, and we unfortunately don't have leadership positions for every single person who shows that interest to be involved in Hall Counsel. There are also quite a few student organizations to be involved with as well. So again, while we would hope that you would get involved in Hall Counsel, if that's just not your thing, we would definitely encourage you to check out some of the other campus organizations through student leadership and involvement and campus activities and Greek life. So Annette, could you talk a little bit, about that too? If Hall Counsel may not be their thing, just what other organizations that they could get involved in and where to go, and other campus partners.
Yeah, so still within the housing realm, one of our larger organizations that we have in our department is the Residence Hall Association, which if you think about like when you're in high school, how there's like student government, or like, I don't even remember what it was called. I feel like high school was so long ago, but if you're thinking of like a high school hall government, RHA is similar to that for the residents. And so we put on large scale events. So when you come to campus, our tie-dye on the mall, we are going on our 7th year this year of having it on campus, and it's just a big tie-dye event. We also go to conferences across the country to get students involved and talk about leadership development, and we also work to pass legislation to say there's student support behind this change for something happening in the hall. So if you want to see that every hall has at least 2 water bottle fillers, then RHA is the route that you would go to kind of work through, like, how much do those cost? What would it take? And what's the timeline of installing those? So that's another way to get involved, within the department. But if maybe housing isn't the place that you find your home, Gina mentioned that there is the Student Leadership and Engagement Office, and at the beginning of every semester they have a club. Now I can't think of what it's
Club
called.
Expo? Yeah.
Club Expo. Oh. I wanted to call it Club Hub, but that's a location on campus. At Club Expo, you get the opportunity to go and meet every student organization essentially, and I think we're up to 400 or 500 now on campus. So if you have an interest in something, like if you're a Harry Potter fan and you want to join the Quidditch team, we're the Apparators, I think, is our team here on campus. Our UREC, our University Recreation Center, they have all of their options of the climbing wall, outdoor programs, intramural sports, club sports. I was never an athlete. My run is like run to the store, like run to get a, you know what I mean? So if that's something you're interested in, all of our Greek life organizations will be represented there. Or if you just have general interest, maybe like you want to get involved in your major, or you're like learning a new skill of how to knit. There's like a knitting club. And so You can go to that Club Expo, or you can look up AppSync, which is the central website of all of the clubs and organizations. So you can see all of the registered groups and what their missions are, when they meet, what kind of activities do they do, and things like that. So those are all the ways that you can get involved. And as Gina talked about, wanting to have a well-rounded experience with the Career Center and career development on that 4-year plan, to create that success, we definitely know that like getting involved socially is equally as important to that 4-year plan. So how are you getting connected? How are you creating those experiences for yourself to be able to make yourself ready and well-rounded to move in the future? So those are some big ways to get involved on campus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the things that's a great kind of segue as to something else I wanted to talk about with one of the things that we are really passionate about, and we want students to be successful here at App. And one of the things that we do in particular in housing to support that with the RAs is they'll have either a one-on-one conversation, we call them app chats. You'll have 2 each semester, so a total of 4 during the academic year. And that's just a conversation with your RA just to get to know you. How is your transition going? Are you getting connected? Are you getting involved in hall council? Are you finding other clubs and organizations? How are your classes going? If there's resources they can connect you to. We really spend, about 2 weeks training our RA staff and the hall staff before students even arrive on campus to make sure they're aware of resources and just support networks across the university, whether that's other staff or other faculty. So really when, your RA approaches you and said, hey, it's time to set up our meeting for our app chat, don't shy away. Please have that conversation, schedule some time, maybe go for a walk. You can have it over Zoom or whatever feels comfortable for you. But, know that we want you to be successful. And that's one of the things that we have found and is supported in the literature and research about getting students connected and having them feel that sense of belonging here at the university, and know that the RAs are asking because it's their job to ask, to make sure that you're getting connected and you're getting those resources and you're meeting other students not only on your own individual floor but in your building as well. So when we say community, there's so many different layers to that. It's your floor community, it's your building community. Maybe you have friends that also are attending app, like Anna mentioned, getting connected with those students, but also getting connected with other people who you may not necessarily have interacted with before, and just all of the ways to get involved and get connected. So please know that the RAs aren't being nosy. It's their job to, get to know you, to get you connected, to say, oh, hey, like, Gina, you're interested in Harry Potter. Did you know Anna Mac is as well? You haven't met Anna Mac yet? Let me take you down the hallway and go meet her. Let me make sure that y'all get connected. So definitely take advantage of that, and please talk to your RAs if you have questions about anything, or your hall supervisors. And like I said, we want you to be successful and feel connected, and that in particular, like those app chats are one specific way the RAs will do that, and you'll have that one-on-one conversation with them and just about various topics throughout the academic year as well. So just be open to that and have that conversation, and we really look forward to having those conversations with you as well and getting you connected. And one of the other things that we do as well is our new Mountaineer Forum. So all new Mountaineers will receive an email just to fill out a quick survey as to, again, just some of those questions as to how are you getting connected? What questions do you have? Do you know of resources? And just asking those, again, just another office. It's administered through the Office of Student Success. So again, lots of campus partners and resources to then help make sure that you're getting connected and have access to those resources and other references too. So
yeah, and those RAs, as well. Like they are student leaders. They were the new incoming students, or they were the transfer students that came to App with big eyes of like, wow, all of a sudden I'm out of school with 20,000 students and I'm from a little town of, 2,000. Like, this is wild. So using those RAs, and like if you're looking for leadership opportunities or involvement opportunities, really the first step is just showing up. Like, that's really all it takes. Like, maybe you don't automatically want to become the president of our student government association, or you don't want to become the president of your hall council, because it's kind of a little intimidating maybe to just try to take on so much responsibility right away. But just show up to programs, just go to events put on by the programming boards across campus or organizations that you might be interested in. And that's really the first step, is just showing up, because as you start to show up, then you may say like, oh, like I want to plan this event, or I think we could budget this a little bit better, and we can work on those skills that way. So the RAs are just another avenue to help you go have a person to go meet new people as they've been through it before, and your hall staff as well. And then the students who are the executive board of the Residence Hall Association and their sister organization, the National Residence Hall Honorary, they are, they're upperclassmen as well. So lean on them to be like, hey, I'm new. Can you help introduce me to people? And they'd be happy to do that. So, rely on, don't be nervous or don't be shy to ask for help, and ask folks who've been around, hey, can you help me with this? Because we're happy to do it.
Yep. Yeah. And we want you to get connected on campus. And there are some other events and activities that RAs will plan, the hall supervisor, so either the graduate student or the full-time professional who lives in each of the buildings, they'll plan some programs and events throughout the academic year as well. And so they're another resource. So definitely feel free that you can, either go talk to them or send them a quick email, or just stop by their office hours. There are lots of people around who want to help support you and have you be involved. One of the other things that you can do as well, for those who are on a residential learning community, a lot of the communities have returning students on their floor as well. So they're sophomores or juniors, other, student leaders, other people you could go and ask questions to. And they, depending on the community, they all have different roles. Some of them have a little bit more formal mentoring role. Some of them are there just as another resource in addition to the RA, to be able to ask questions and get you connected either in the academic field that you're interested in, or maybe some clubs and organizations. So just kind of depending on the community you're in, there are, upper class students to kind of help support and have you be acclimated to the university and all there is to do. Because it can be like, as I'm sitting here thinking about this and talking about it, it's like, wow, we have talked about a lot and it can be really overwhelming. So please, if you are feeling overwhelmed with all of the different options, know that you can, and I would echo what Anna Mack said of just go to events. If they're in the halls, of course, we want you to come to our events, but if you're interested in Greek life, then, reach out to them and go to some of those events. There'll be information sessions for a lot of different organizations, and Anna Mack mentioned the Club Expo that will happen. So please, don't feel overwhelmed with so many options. Like, we want you to know and be informed. And so just kind of take that and, look to see how you might get connected and really meet other people and experience what App has to offer. So just to think about that as well, that there's lots of students and faculty and staff around who want you to be successful. So
yeah, and that includes us. So yeah. We're happy to talk more about any opportunity that you may be seeking, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall.
All right, thanks. Go Mountaineers.
Go Mountaineers. Have a great day.